And I'm very neutral when it comes to money. For me, it's like a tool. I don't have any emotions around it. I have a lot of trust and shakeouts in difficult times. Oh, I should call that girl again. She was cool. And so we went for lunch, and at lunch, Auxxo happened. It's the most flexible job in the world if you allow for it. Get a gang, because it's much easier if you're in a group. It's like, I think that's like the one angel crime is putting too much in your first investment. But you only need one success story. That's the point. Yeah. Best salary negotiation tip is don't ask for a pay raise, ask for less time. For me, it's a really deep urge for understanding. I'm really excited that science is getting the attention it's getting. Companies, you need to put a lot of care into every single one, and everyone that has a portfolio knows that your interest in some companies sometimes slips, and that sucks.
Hi, Tina. Super nice to have you on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, always a pleasure. So today we are welcoming my friend Tina, fund manager, angel investor, former consultant, and mathematician on the OVNI Podcast. And yeah, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, and then let's chat.
Okay, cool. So, there are always like a million ways to introduce yourself. I think I'm here because I'm the GP of Auxxo. Auxxo is basically the German female VC fund. We invest only in companies that have at least one female co-founder that needs to hold at least 20%, because we see a lot of these sort of window dressing female co-founders. And we're on our second fund. The first fund was just under 20 million, and the second fund is not quite closed yet, but it will be somewhere upwards of 30.
Well, first, congrats on the second fund. Super happy about that.
It wasn't an easy fundraise.
Yeah, no, I know. I can only imagine. And yeah, so I would love to start off with how you got to be the GP of Auxxo and your journey when you decided to raise a fund, and especially the angle of angel investing. I think it's very different when you are learning how to invest using other people's money versus when you then do it yourself. So I'd love your experience on how that changed, and how conviction building is very different when you're investing your own angel check versus now as a fund manager.
Yeah. So I've kind of worked with money for a while. I think actually maybe starting with one point, I recently found out that I think I have a very neutral relationship with money. I actually went to this retreat, and they were doing all these exercises around like power and how does money feel to you. And I'm very neutral when it comes to money. For me, it's like a tool. I don't have any emotions around it.
Is that your mathematician background? Maybe is that the?
I think it's a mixture of the mathematician background and just the right amount of privilege I grew up with. So there was always enough, never too much, never too many, never too much, never too little. Yeah, it was really good amount. So I have no like pressure or shame or anything around it, and I think that's actually something that's quite important for me. I mean, I keep seeing that also around me, that I feel that's a big privilege to have a very neutral mindset when it comes to money. Yeah, and so my first sort of working with money job was straight after university. I joined a consultancy, OCNC in London, and worked on private equity due diligences for 4 years, really in the city of London during the financial crisis, 2008.
Oh,
so that
would be an entire conversation in itself, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I found it quite useful now in the hard times to have gone through that, because I've learned a lot of trust in like, I don't know, shakeouts. I have a lot of trust and shakeouts in difficult times. Okay. So that was my first investing money job. Then I had a little stint being a product manager at Axel Springer. I was the first person in Germany looking full time after digital paid content. So journalism on the internet and how do you make money with it. And that was super interesting. I feel like so old and dinosauric. Is that a word? Speaking about it, because so we had the highest revenue app in the App Store in 2010 with 1 million revenues.
Okay, wow.
In Germany. So
those times are
long time ago. And it was so it was quite fascinating. I remember a guy he was a what did you call them, controller, I guess, and but he then became business intelligence, which was then a new thing. He was like, Tina, you have to come. I have to show you this cool thing. It's called Google Analytics. Anyway. So I spent some time in a big publisher, Axel Springer, working on digital solutions, and then I became like a general innovation person there. And then they set up the accelerator, Axel Springer Plug and Play, and I joined that and looked after the portfolio there for a while. Actually, in total, it was 10 years. Because
that is a while.
Yes. Well, the really amazing thing is that they when I started raising the Auxxo fund, they said, no, you can stay until however long you need, because we need someone to look after the portfolio.
That's one of the key GP challenges, right? That you have your fundraising and you
have to bridge stuff.
Yeah, you have to bridge a lot of stuff.
A lot of money. And at the point I was also a single mom, so I didn't need to like have some income. So it was really great. I actually quit there 2 weeks after we closed Fund 1.
That answers one of my core questions.
Yeah.
How did you bridge the all that upfront cost, but also your own expenses? Then you have to do a GP commit. All these fund expenses are coming your way. I'm very upfront about it. A lot of the GP commit on Fund 1 I did from a loan from my parents. I had put, so maybe stepping back a little point. Oh, sorry, that was a little cling. So we got together, Gesa and I, at a dinner organized by a female founder that's very well known in Germany, Kathi Ernst. Kathi Ernst brought me to the dinner. Gesa had organized it, and I'd met Kathi only once before. And like the second I met her, she was like, "You need to meet my friend Gesa." And so we were brought together at this dinner. And both Gesa and I and Kathi, we all had tiny kids at the time, like small, and didn't usually sit in a bar until 4 a.m. But that night we sat in a bar until 4 a.m. And it's like the napkin math of building Auxxo.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Sitting in a bar until 4 a.m. And then like a few weeks later, I found Gesa's card in my kitchen. I was like, oh, I should call that girl again. She was cool. And so we went for lunch, and at lunch, Auxxo happened.
Wow.
So it was really at the first lunch where we talked about working in venture capital. Gesa wanted to break into it. I was already in it. I didn't know how to navigate it, what my next steps were going to be. So we really already started talking about the idea of setting up a VC fund that we would really like to have as investors and would like to work for. And the ingoing hypothesis was, it's the most flexible job in the world if you allow for it.
Yeah.
And
I have a feeling the more ownership you have over your job, the more flexibility it gives you, right?
Exactly.
But you are never off.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. So I always say you have to give and take flexibility. Yeah. But then, I mean, the founders, they don't care whether I speak to them at 9 p.m. or at 7 a.m. Exactly. Yeah. But like with family, I just need like this, like 5 to 8 is just don't. And that needs to be accepted. But it wasn't at the time, now it's all better after COVID, but that was before COVID. So, so it wasn't that accepted, also working from home or being more flexible. So COVID did a lot of very good things in that respect. But we were like, hey, what do we do to do this? And we already started talking about doing our own fund. It was like, well, we need to build track record. We need to.
Were you angel investing already when you met Gesa?
I'd done one.
Okay. So this was kind of the catalyst also to start angel investing, to build your track record.
Well, I wanted to angel invest anyway, but I was slower than I thought. I wasn't that great at making the decisions by myself.
That's also an interesting point, because as an angel, you have to do the conviction building. There's no committee, like
nothing. You have to make your own decision. You have to do all the steps by yourself, and I wasn't very good at it. This is why I always say, like, to everyone who wants to angel invest, get a gang.
Yeah,
because it's much easier if you're in a group.
Who was your gang?
Well, Gesa became a gang, Gesa and Fabiola. So then we asked Fabiola to join us as well. She had been in private equity and in sort of small to mid-cap private equity. And so we started together, and we was like, oh, this is also like the angel investing. Really, we're very deliberate about it being our like personal DD on each other. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So we're like
building a fund together, like before you have the fund.
Exactly. So we said, like, we need to build joint track record because we knew we had a huge problem that we hadn't worked together. So we knew we had to build joint track record, and we need to prove that we can make decisions together, that we make good decisions together, and that we stick together as well, right? So we did it very deliberately with the intent of building track record. So we put in I think we agreed on each putting in like 80,000 euros.
I was going to ask you for a number. Thank you for providing it. It's such an opaque thing, angel investing. You're always wondering how much money do you need? Like, how many deals do you do? What's the check size? How do you even become relevant in a round? How did you meet founders?
Yeah, and it because it's so hard, like. And you need and 80 isn't enough to do a proper angel portfolio, because I think you need to do at least 15. Otherwise, your risk diversification is just totally off.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a little off with 15, but like otherwise, it's totally off. So we put that money in together. Obviously, we put too much in the first investment, like everyone does. Like, I think that's like the one angel crime, is putting too much in your first investment.
Yeah.
But it paid out because it did really well. Oh. And this is actually how we managed to bridge the gap to Fund 2. But I'll come back to that. So we did angels. Cliffhanger. So we did angel. We started working with that money that we'd each committed. We got some money back from the BAFA, it's like the German tax refund you get, and we also got a very nice gentleman from Switzerland in to put some extra money. So we managed to like stretch it out to just over 500,000 in our angel investments, and they did extremely well. And we've already got 3x DPI back on it, and still have about that much in TVPI sitting there. So on top. So and that money, the 3x DPI on it, is what gave Gesa me our commit for Fund 2.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, because
congrats.
Thank you.
Amazing. I mean, having that. When was this? Like, when did the first?
We started 19. So we started 19. We did Fund 1 in 21, and we did Fund 2 24, 25, and we still closing.
So that's having exits now is actually really good. Yeah,
5 years. Yeah, we did it. We exited in a pretty aggressive Series B. Not all of it, but some of it. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the right thing to happen at the right time, which is also, people don't talk about luck enough.
Timing, yeah. I mean, you have to create the opportunity for it, and then the timing has to be right. And then, I'm guessing a lot of things also didn't work out. So in this case, we're talking about the success stories.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but you only need one success story. That's the point.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of luck and privilege in this.
Well, it's still a fascinating story. So you meet Gesa, you decide you want to do a fund together. You start building your angel track record. But you both have full-time jobs still at the time.
Sort of. I was working part-time at Axel Springer looking after portfolio, but also doing consulting because I had a small child. I went to them and was like, you don't really, like, if I do consulting on like an hourly basis, I get more money. So it's like more money, more flexibility. I'm just going to do like a mixed situation. I kind of built myself this mixed situation for small child period.
Amazing. I mean, you don't get what you don't ask for. So important lesson.
Yes, yeah. Best salary negotiation tip is don't ask for a pay raise, ask for less time. That's what I did gradually. Reduce less time, same money. So at that time I was working freelance and looking after portfolio. I love looking after portfolio. So for me, that's like a really like a fact of life that I have portfolio. I like it. I like having the different conversations. I like it when founders call me because they usually have something interesting to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether it's hard or not, it's always interesting. So I really enjoyed the portfolio work. And I had a very hard time giving up my Axel Springer plug and play portfolio. It was really like letting the kids go. It was emotionally hard. So I was happy I was able to maintain it. Gesa was also working part-time.
And now, walk me through how you built conviction together. How did that start when you were angel investing? How did that translate into the fund? And how's that going now? Because you just told me that you also do deep tech investments now.
Yes.
So I'm very curious about that.
So when we started really with a view of like, what are the things that are important to us? And we had like 3 things that we always came back to, and usually 2 of them were true. So we wanted things that build true assets quickly because, 2019, that's like gorilla's time, like lots of money still being thrown at it, like blindly at marketing. So So we didn't want to engage in that. So it was like we want to see that assets are being built and the true assets are there. We wanted to see that things are meaningful. So to avoid the word impact, but that like we understood why the world needs whatever is being done there. And the third was female founders. So usually if two of those rang true, we could get excited.
So in your angel portfolio, you were broader. It didn't have to have a female co-founder.
No, it didn't have to have a female co-founder, but it often did. 75%.
Okay.
This is also how we came more and more into, and then this whole female thing happened organically out of that. We didn't start with the female, we're building for women. We started with we're building as women. And what does that mean? And the we're building for women came much later, because what happened was that we very organically started being approached to do things for like female accelerators, all sorts of female programs. So we kind of very organically became like the sort of, oh, look, female women doing angel investment, crazy. We also started a female business angel kind of not club, like it was like an escalated WhatsApp group that became Slack, the Evangelistas. They still exist.
And a podcast.
Yes, yeah. So also that happened very organically. So everything happened very organically.
Do you know the joke about it's either a VC that's starting a podcast or a VC that's a former podcaster or a VC that's on a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, I mean, my podcast was very much a kind of thing that just happened on the side. I wouldn't put it on my CV.
But
too much.
I mean, that's how we got introduced through Katja, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you do all the things and things happen, and I think that one thing that's actually very important to mention is that the year before we closed Fund 1, Geza decided she was going to go on the year of yes, and she said yes to things. And did things massively out of her comfort zone. So, for example, she accepted to be deputy vice president. I don't know what the exact title is, but the deputy person at the German Startup Association. So I started doing this podcast thing. Like we just like said yes to stuff, and things happened. So very organically, we build up a brand around this female VC thing, and it's nothing had like occupied, no one had occupied that space. So we also got amazing introductions when we started fundraising, and this is actually one of the things that was like the coolest thing about the fundraise was we got introduced to the most amazing people. Like I really had to like pinch myself every other day. It's like, oh my God, I'm having a call with this person, and they're actually like interested in what I have to say. So even like the act of fundraising was a really amazing networking opportunity. And so maybe stepping back to the point when we decided to do the female fund was that we had actually a male GP that we were friends with. And he was like, guys, if you don't use this opportunity, you idiots. And I was like, oh, but I don't know what model really makes sense. And then we sat through and it's like, no, we're going to think it through from the beginning to the end. And if it makes sense, we do it. And we sat down and we thought it through from the beginning to the end. And we found like a way that made it all work. And we're like, this is really cool. Let's do it.
And you have an amazing brand now. I mean, everyone knows you.
Yeah.
Geza.
Yes. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more, like we started off with this female thing and now it's becoming much more about like our values that we've derived from our own journeys as well, of like being able to turn up as a whole person, being there for the hard stuff. Like we're not interested in just the whoa, we're all awesome. We're here for we're all really struggling in these processes.
Yeah, it's such a hard journey.
Yeah.
Being a founder. And I mean, building your own fund is kind of, it's not entirely the same, but you're building something from scratch. So
yeah,
a lot of empathy in that.
Yes. And that's what I want to be there for.
And now, how has that changed from Fund 1 to Fund 2? Do you have a different focus now? And I really want to talk about the deep tech investment stuff. And I want to dig a little bit into your background because it's interesting that you have such a quantitative background and you worked in PE and like.
Yeah, there's a very easy through line all of this. So I have ADHD, and in case you haven't noticed, and I have a very pronounced hyperfocus. And so when I was very little, my hyperfocus, I was very lucky. My hyperfocus went into maths and like sports. I did competitive sports, and so it went to maths, my hyperfocus. So I was math girl, and also studied math at university, and was in like this former GDR highly gifted kids thing. So but I think that was just because I really enjoyed it, and the beautiful thing about, people always think with ADHD you're like this crazy kid that like jumps off the roof, but fact is you just have a different attention profile, and my attention profile was one that really enjoyed being in like the depth of the analytics and really like in focus, and this is the through line.
And how does that translate into early stage investing when there's not that much to analyze quantitatively, at least?
I think in a way it's in like the really deep listening and like really like going into like the vision. So it's for me it's a really deep urge for understanding. And for really understanding what is this and what can this be and what is this founder trying to tell me, like a really like deep focus on the conversation and the founder's vision.
So that goes a little bit into the conviction building.
Yeah.
And how you do that. And I'm super curious to hear what excites you right now. What kind of profiles are you looking at? What kind of conversations are you having? What is exciting to you right now?
Yeah. So for me, it's always going to say exciting when I just see a really great female founder. Yeah. So, and this for me is always in the end, the like final test is, am I going to be very sad every time I see this person? And it's happened a couple of times that we haven't done things, and I get really sad about not having backed the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a person I need to back? Because I really believe in this person. And that's going to always stay like for me the most important piece. Yeah. And then the rest has to check out, yeah. And right now, I'm very excited about science. I've always been excited about science, and I'm very excited that finally science is getting the ear
nerdy topics.
The ear and the
cool.
money. Yeah, it's supposed to get. So
no more SAS.
Huh?
No more SAS.
No, SAS is also
very
really
important.
Good and important, and it appeared to be an easy investment case. Well, no, now we're all smarter. But I'm really excited that science is getting the attention it's getting, and a lot of like long-term investments are paying off also in terms of programs that university building, network building that people have done for the last 10, 20 years is now finally starting to pay off.
Then let's get deep tech and let's get nerdy. Is there any of the recent stuff or any of the investments you've made that you can talk about or maybe tease us about?
Yeah, so we're really excited. We're always really excited about all the things we did. But one thing that is super, super interesting because it's so relevant right now is a company called Marble Imaging. They work in Earth observation. And they just have a really amazing female scientist in analyzing pictures and data. And she's particularly good in working out, or the team is amazing at working out sort of surface haptics. And that's something that is extremely relevant in all sorts of environmental, logistical use cases, but also obviously sovereignty use cases. And she is combined with a guy that knows how to run satellite constellations. And so they're going to launch their own satellite constellation in order to send up payloads that are also specifically designed to provide the images, the data that they need to create this image information. And this is a really cool case that I really like because they can already work with images or data that they receive right now that they haven't kind of harvested themselves. And they have really USP there and very strong technology, but also they can build this whole ecosystem around it with their own.
They're building the assets.
Exactly. But one thing works with the other and one thing wouldn't work without the other. So that's something that really excites me because it's a really clear, also commercial journey. That needs a lot of investment, but also that another thing that's very exciting there is in terms of timing. Like anything like space infrastructure is just so cool. What's opening up right now, that sending things to space is just not as crazy as it used to be, and
that's true.
And that opens up a lot of stuff. So that's a really cool timing component. So we have like a nice commercial journey combined with really, really cool timing on the infrastructure that's developing, but also obviously demand for these images because Europe is highly dependent on US.
Yeah, sovereignty is in everyone's conversations now.
And Europe basically has no supply of own imaging, Earth imaging. It's all US data that's being used. Yeah, it's crazy. So that's highly, highly relevant. And the last piece that always gets me most excited about stuff is when I see people that there are very few people that can do something, and it's important, and it's got good timing. And this is like there are very few people in the world that can run satellite constellations. There are very few people in the world that can do this imaging technology that this team can do. And this is why this is one of the teams I'm just like, I love it. Because it's just so many factors that come together to create something that's very unique.
Is that a German startup or?
Yeah.
Okay. German deep tech industry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're also, I'm in Berlin right now because we hired someone here.
Very good.
Yes, I know. Back to the roots. So really excited to get more involved in the German ecosystem as well.
Yeah. Good.
I would like to go back to the topic that we had discussed before we entered the podcast studio. The topic of the spaces and what mindset you're in, and like this whole quantitative, you're working for PE, you're doing like a deep dive on something, and you put yourself in different frames of mind to analyze certain things, right? So what kind of frames of mind, you mentioned maybe you use one more than others, or like how do they come together? How is that in the team? I'm guessing Gesa builds conviction very differently to you.
So different.
And how does that come together in like an investment committee?
Yeah. I think, okay, so first of all, with relation to me, I really have a very different getting stuff done, sort of really being in the executive functioning brain is a very different brain for me to the deep thinking brain. And for me, the analytical brain is a deep thinking brain rather than the executive functioning brain. So I really try to split the two up and try to create different times as well for them. So I try to have like proper focus blocks. They need to be open end. Like, so for example, my kid, I'm only a part-time mom, which I think for me is great. And like I have my deep work days on days when she's not coming home because I need it open end. And I also try to not have evening things because I want to go late. So that's one thing. So that's like two very different spaces. And I get a real issue if one of the spaces hasn't had enough space or is overloaded with task. So that's kind of on my level, and I really am very conscious about dividing the two and going in very different also environments for them. So that's maybe on the different mind spaces. In the deep work space, mind space, there's something about, I think, like deep understanding of person, dynamic, market, and that's, I think, where the true conviction comes from. And like, I can't let this go. But sometimes it comes back to very simple reasons, like, why can't I let this go? Why does it keep popping up in my brain? Why, is it taking hold of me? And then I only try to go to analytics for backup, for the feeling. Yeah.
I've been wondering about that. Do we invest in what we invest in because that's sort of the space we're evaluating, or can we only truly invest in something we're passionate about anyway, because we're talking about it, we're reading about it, it's all the conversations.
The passion has to be there.
So then your sort of the verticals you're drawn to are they match your personality.
Yeah. And I need to really care. Because it's a hard job. I mean, you know this. It's like we have like so many companies. You need to like put a lot of care to every single one, and everyone that has a portfolio knows that your interest in some companies sometimes slips, and that sucks.
Yeah.
So, and then it becomes a drain, and you don't. So
keeping up with what's happening in a certain industry or caring about the nitty-gritty details comes a lot easier when
you care.
It's something you care about. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to really, really care, and
you do a deep dive after dinner because you're like, I saw this article, I'm going to read it, I'm going to talk to the founder about it tomorrow.
You need to really care. You need to really, really care, because it's like So it just becomes a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If you don't care, then
we can swear, it's fine.
Yeah. No, it's you really need deep conviction.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, last question. Sort of the advice for founders who want to approach you. Like, what are you excited in right now? What should people pitch you? What's your female co-founders, of course, but
I really don't have a good answer.
No?
No.
Okay. People need to figure out what you're passionate about. Talk to you.
Yeah.
Find you on LinkedIn?
Find me on LinkedIn? No, I don't post.
How do people get in contact with you? How do founders approach you?
Ideally through an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
But I do read LinkedIn messages.
Okay.
And then we have normal deal flow sort of channels, like website form.
I mean, you have a really strong brand in in the ecosystem, so I'm guessing everyone already.
Yeah, I really care about people that are thoughtful. Like, I want to know that people are very thoughtful, and have thought things through, and have unique access or unique expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And I care about things that are important.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was super nice to have you on.
Thank you.
All right.